Hey everyone, what's up? It is Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I am about to go live with Van Brooks. Van is our guest speaker at this Sunday's Path to Purpose, which will be at the CityFam offices, and he's got a really inspiring story. So I'm excited to talk to him and hear from him, learn a little bit more about his story, and let him share it with y'all.
There we go.
Hey Van, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
That's good.
Thanks for taking time to join us.
No, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really excited that you agreed to come to speak at our event this Sunday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I just wanted everybody to kind of learn a little bit more about you. I don't want you to share your whole story and give it away.
Okay.
I want them to come one Sunday. But tell everybody that's watching a little bit about who you are and, just your background.
Yeah, sure. I'm born and raised in West Baltimore City. I developed a passion for football at a very young age. So I'm an athlete at heart. I was a three-sport athlete in high school, and I was on track to becoming a collegiate athlete. And during my junior year in high school back in 2004, I went in for a tackle and I ended up breaking my neck.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so I broke my neck in two places, and I was initially paralyzed from the neck down, unable to do anything for myself.
Wow.
And so at the age of 16, everything that I had known was flipped upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, I can't imagine what that was like going through that.
Oh man, it was wild because when you work on something for so long, and sports was my passion, football was my passion. I was that kid that went to bed with the football and tried to take it everywhere I went. And so when you work on something like that for so long and it all be taken away from you, it's like, what do I do now?
Right.
But not only for it to be taken away from you, for you to become, completely paralyzed was the big thing, really.
Right. Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
Because you're expecting your life is going to go one way and it just goes a completely different way.
Yeah, the far extreme.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine you probably suffered from bouts of depression, but that I probably couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, but at that age, I didn't know what depression was.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So now I can identify and say definitely I went through bouts of depression, but during that time I was so naive to the fact that, I'm going to recover from this, or that it really didn't happen,
Right.
And that everything that people were saying to me wasn't true.
Right.
That, I really didn't understand at that moment that was depression.
Right. Sure. So, and they told you wouldn't walk again. Is that right?
Yeah, man, they told me that I wouldn't even be able to move at all. And told my parents to make preparations to take care of me for the rest of my life.
And could you speak at that time when it happened or?
No, I couldn't speak. I already said I couldn't move. I wasn't breathing on my own.
Wow.
Couldn't eat, like nothing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
give us a brief, synopsis. How did you overcome? How did you bounce back from that and really kind of turn it into a positive?
Yeah, so I hit a point, and I'm not going to get in too much detail because, as you said, I want people to come and hear the full story Sunday. But my father came in, and he's told me a quote, and he said, "A man isn't defeated when he loses; he's defeated when he gives up."
Mm.
And he told me to never give up. And then he followed up with that by saying, I'm going to do my part, God's going to do his part, and I need you to do your part.
Mm.
And so coupled with those two things, and my father being the strongest man in the world to me, he's my father. And so for him to at that moment, he didn't realize the pressure that he was putting on me. He was saying something to motivate me. But it was like, if my father's depending on me to recover, I needed to do what I needed to do.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. I read a book, Think and Grow Rich, a while back.
Yeah.
It talks about every adversity has the seed of an equal or greater benefit.
Uh-huh.
So many people would have let something like what happened to you just crush them. I mean, I personally, I'm like, if that happened to me, I can imagine I'd be sitting around feeling sorry for myself for a long time, just knowing my personality. But that it's amazing that you were able to to turn it into something positive. So tell us about the nonprofit that you started.
Yeah, so as a result of everything I went through, and all the people that came and supported me during high school, the mission of my high school was to become a man for others. And so I've always understood that if you can't, thank someone, the way that you pay them back is by paying it forward. And so I decided, and I'm not going to say I decided, God actually decided that for me. I woke up from a dream that said start a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. And I had no prior knowledge of a nonprofit, but I knew that was my calling. And that's, I realized that's why I went through everything I went through. And so I dedicated, 6 to 8 months to researching how to start a nonprofit. And I started Safe Alternative Foundation for Education. And the whole purpose of the foundation is to provide opportunities to kids in my community that they otherwise wouldn't have. Yeah. Early on, I realized the difference between the education that I was receiving at a private school versus that, my siblings and my friends. Mm-hmm. And then when I was injured, I quickly realized the importance of an education, because I knew if I was going to achieve any kind of success, it would have to come through my education. Right. But then another major factor was the things that I was exposed to, the resources I had, the opportunities I had. And so with my foundation, the whole objective is to teach kids the importance of having an education, teach kids the importance of having a backup plan, but then also exposing them to other options, mm-hmm. and not just what they see on television.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah. I wish I would have studied for 18 months before I started my nonprofit. It would probably saved me a lot of pain and wasted time. And really just one thing that struck me was your dad, like how fortunate you were and how important really it is for young men to have a father around. Like my dad was never in the same state as me when I grew up. So I had to teach myself how to be a man, and I wasn't a very good teacher. But, that's a whole nother conversation that we won't get into. So your current position with the governor's office is you're the director
Yes.
of Service and Volunteerism?
I am.
So how did that come to be?
That came about, I was in doing my work with my foundation. I ended up meeting a gentleman one day who worked for the governor's office. And, we talked about the work that I was doing in West Baltimore. And he liked the work. He heard my story, and he really loved my story. And he asked me to come out and speak to a big group of his colleagues, which I did. And then, one thing led to another. We built a really good relationship. And I got a phone call one day saying, we had this open position, and you've been recommended by, a couple of people. And one of those people being the guy who I met, and then the other person being actually the gentleman who was in the position before me. Mm. And so, I prayed on it, and I said, if this is meant, everything will work out, because when I got the call, I wasn't really in the position to leave my foundation. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of things that had to happen for me to leave. And so after praying on it, I said, if it's meant, it'll happen. Mm-hmm. And make a long story short, I guess it was meant, because I'm there.
That's awesome. I'm a big Hogan fan. So I'm glad that you're on this team. So why are you passionate about service and volunteerism in particular?
So I'm really passionate about it because as I touched on it a little bit earlier, so many people stepped up to help me and my family when I was at my lowest point. And if it wasn't for those people praying for us, if it wasn't for those people coming and helping my mother out and giving my mother and my father a break and letting them go out, have a night out in the town, just to kind of take their mind off of everything that they were dealing with, no telling where I would be today.
Right.
And then when I started my foundation, and I was a one-man show. Mm-hmm. And how I got that thing operational was through a ton of volunteers. Mm-hmm. When it came down to me having a crazy idea of opening up a youth center, once I was able to get the facility, it had to get refurbished. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any money. So I just put a call out to say, hey, if there's anyone out there who would like to be involved with this project, will you come? Right. And the outpour of support that came was incredible. Mm-hmm. And so I truly understand and I know the power of volunteering. Yeah. And the impact that it can have. And that's why I'm just so passionate about it. And I truly believe that service and volunteering can solve a lot of today's issues that we face.
100%.
and we don't have to wait. We don't have to wait for money, you know, because we have skill. We have skills, and if people came and did a small part, you know, I always say the ripple effect. You know, you toss that pebble in the water, and that ripple creates waves.
Right.
And that's what one person can do, and that's what service and volunteerism can do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously, volunteerism is a big part of CityFam's mission, and I personally get more excited about the person that I volunteer alongside a lot of times, because when I see people volunteer, their life changes. Like that's what happened to me. I was started volunteering through my church, and I just liked the way it made me feel so much that I stopped making problems. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to be part of the problem anymore. I wanted to be part of the solution because it felt so good. So when I recruit people to volunteer, for me, it's more about, you know, helping them. And I feel like, you know, even with like the opioid epidemic, if those people would go out and volunteer, a lot of the chemicals they say that you get from volunteering in your brain naturally are very similar to drugs. Like you get this high almost. And I was like, if people just go out and volunteer, they could feel good and not have the habit or whatever, you know. But of course we're lazy and we try to jack the system and deal without the work. But so what else you got going on? What are you excited about?
You know, I'm really excited that you know, I have some projects that I'm working on. The biggest one right now is I'm in the process of opening up another facility, another youth center right here in West Baltimore, to expand the work that I'm doing. You know, I think it's really important that we have facilities, and I'm not one to wait around for people to come and save the day. You know, I'm one that if I can help someone today, I'm going to do it today. I'm not going to wait till tomorrow. Yeah. And so I'm really excited that I have the resources, I have the support system, most importantly, to help me get this next facility operational. So, you know, in the next couple of months, I'm going to start refurbishing that bad boy. Yeah. And my goal is to have it hopefully open within, you know, in a year and a half, I'll have it open.
Awesome. If you could use, you know, like 50 to 100 volunteers, like on a one day, whatever, whatever you want to do, let me know, because we're always looking, you know, for great opportunities and causes in the community. So if you could use us, put us to work.
Hey, I absolutely will be. I'm definitely calling on you.
Okay. Yeah. We did a rec center off of, I don't know, was it Latrobe? No, what was it? I can't remember the name of the rec center now, but we painted a rec center. It was probably about 2 years ago.
Okay.
I don't remember the guy's name that we partnered with on it, but I guess he was doing something similar after school for the kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So what do you see for the future of Baltimore? Obviously, it's a little, you know, crazy out there right now with the crime. And do you think that the future is bright? And what do you think that we need to do to kind of turn things around in the city?
You know, I definitely believe the future is bright. You know, I think we need, I think one key way that we can solve a lot of things is more opportunities for our youth. You know, if we can get our youth on the right path at an early age, and I think that will help out, right? There are so many different things and so many different factors that I won't even try to get into right now, that's affecting our students. And I know this from personal experience from having my own youth center. But one thing that I do know is that the impact that after school programs have, we need more of that.
Sure.
And so if we can get more after school programming and more free quality after school programming for our students, I think that will help the generation coming up. You know, I'm a firm believer in generational changes. And the reason why we work with middle schoolers is because, you know, if we can get our middle schoolers on the right path and change their trajectory, you know, and get them into getting into good schools and getting that quality education, what that does for their families when they decide to have family will truly make a difference, you know.
Yeah.
And so that you know, that's my solution, and that's why I go so hard after school with those programming.
Right. I've said that before. A lot of the stuff that's going on, the crime that's happening, is just because they don't have anything else to do. Like there's really not a lot of opportunity, especially if somebody's trying to get out of the hood. like, what do they do? Like
Yeah, yeah,
if there's no hope, then once you take away hope, it's like, for me, I grew up in Brooklyn. So it was, not a great neighborhood, single
hmm
mom with, 8th grade education, no dad around. So I stripped. That's what my way out of the hood was. I started stripping
yeah,
at 19 years old. But that wasn't that's not a good solution either. So you gotta have that. And then the other thing I liked about what you said about the after school program is it gives the child someone to let down, because
yeah,
if you have somebody that believes in you, like, you don't want to disappoint them if they're loving you. And a lot of times, this generation, they don't have somebody that would be disappointed if they messed up. Maybe they don't have a father figure, or even maybe a mother in the picture. So I think
hmm
that's really important what you're doing. So I don't want to talk again too much and give away everything that you're going to be talking about on Sunday. But I just wanted to invite anybody that's watching. We're doing an event at the Emergent Technology Center this Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. That's where the CityFam offices are at the ETC. It's 101 North Haven Street in Highlandtown. And Van is going to be there speaking live. So if you want to come out and join us, you can register for free. There's a link in my bio. And it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited that you're coming, that you agreed to do this, and just
yeah.
building a friendship with you. Did you want to say anything else?
No, I definitely want to encourage people to come out. I'm going to go into a lot more detail about just my journey and the struggle and everything that I touched on today. I'm going to go into a lot more detail. So if you want to hear that, definitely come out. I promise you'll enjoy it.
Awesome. I appreciate you taking time, Van.
No, absolutely. You're welcome.
Thanks again. I'll see you Sunday.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, you too. See ya.